Welcome to Raw and Refined, the Gentleman's Hour, where we're going to have conversation with middle-aged black men about what's going on. We welcome you to listen, comment, and like, and hopefully encourage others to join for future conversations as well. We always like to start off with a toast, and with that toast, it's because we are gentlemen and we do it raw and refined.
Hey everybody, this is Rich. First off, the drink of choice is your favorite summer beverage, whatever that may be. For me, that's a Hendrix and tonic with some cucumber and a little bit of lime. So we're doing something a little different today. Greg, John, and I are taking a short summer break from our regular format, but we didn't want to go quiet. So we're bringing you something lighter, but just as real. A reflection on summer joy, exploring your own city and why it matters, especially for men like us. You'll hear our voices throughout, responding to some questions we've each answered in our own time and way. So let's get into it.
What does summer mean to me today as opposed to what it used to mean? Well, for me, summer is definitely a different time than it used to be as a child. As a child, we look forward to summer as a time of a break from school, a time to go enjoy the wonders of the world and don't have to worry about an assignment that needed to be done. Hanging out with friends, bicycling, going to the pool, and just enjoying what the weather gave us. Nowadays, summer is just a different time of the year. If you have children, it may still be that time as a break in order to be able to go enjoy family and give the kids an experience that is not related to school in some cases. But since our kids are grown, summer is again just another time of the year. It's a little bit hotter, maybe some extra storms, but still an enjoyable time. Sometimes we're able to get away and enjoy just what life has to offer. But now it's just not limited to the summer break.
What does summer mean to me today versus when I was younger? I think they mean pretty much the same thing to me in that it's a time for fun. It's a time to be outside. It's a time to really enjoy the weather and nature. Being in Chicagoland, the summer is special because it's cold for half the year. So the summer has always been about trying to really get it in and enjoy as much as I could.
What summer means to me today versus what it meant to me when I was a kid. Wow. Today, summer means warm weather. It means at least the idea of vacation. It means the lakefront city of Chicago. And it means summertime shy, which if you know, you know. But for me as a kid, summertime meant being outside all day, riding the bikes, playing baseball usually, or some kind of baseball, softball, some sport like that. And it just meant just good times all the time. And summertime is really the best time to have grown up in Chicago. Summertime to me also means taking it easy. It means that you move at a pace that's different than the fall or the spring or even the winter, of course. Summertime just ultimately means trying to get as close to nature as often as you can and to enjoy the elements, even if it's a really hot day. Make it your business to enjoy all of the joy that summertime can bring.
Do I have a childhood memory of summer that still makes me smile? The first memory that popped in my head just now was of crabapple fights. I grew up on a block with a lot of kids all around the same age, so we had a built-in football team, basketball team, or whatever. We had that many kids on the block. And we would sometimes have these epic crabapple fights. And in this particular one, my buddy Oliver's older brother was playing with us. It was about 3 of us with his older brother versus about 10 of the other kids. But at the end of the battle, Maury lit up our buddy Kelly from the other side of the street. A perfectly thrown, perfectly ripe crabapple that exploded right in his face. And we all just died laughing. We'll never forget that. When I think of freedom in the summer, what comes to mind is freedom of time, freedom of choice to move around the way I want to. So the freedom in the summer would ideally mean vacation. Do you approach your time in the summer differently than the rest of the year? I would say I definitely treat my time differently in the summer. For one, I like to take walks, but I don't like to take walks when it's cold. The days are longer. I try to get in as much quality time throughout the day as I can and just generally do fun things.
What does a lazy summer day look like now? That's an interesting question. I would say that a lazy summer day is one that could be filled with just sitting around and binging on Netflix or any other video streaming app that we have. It may be sitting out and just enjoying a good weather day. It may be just listening to music and just relaxing or reading a book that I'm finally getting to. Whatever it is, it's usually just a relaxing time.
A lazy summer day would be starting kind of early with a leisurely walk through the park, a nice breakfast before that, and just chilling in my backyard, looking out at the water, listening to the sounds of nature, firing up the grill, and just hanging out with the missus all day.
Why do you think it's hard for Black men to take a break, even when we need it? I think that's a great question. And it may come down to being instilled in us that if we're taking a break or resting, then we're not being productive. But that's a fallacy because our bodies need rest. We need to be able to take breaks physically and mentally in order to be productive, especially in today's world. Don't look negatively about taking a break. It actually refuels your soul and refills your joy in your heart. So please take those moments as you can and are able because you need it. We need it.
I think we've been programmed to do. I think we've been programmed to try to fulfill needs, to do what needs to be done. And as a result, we often put ourselves last. And so if something needs to be done, if bills got to be paid, whatever, I think we're programmed to just do, to keep going and to not put our needs first.
I think that it's ingrained in you from a young age to not rest or to not relax. I think we're taught to work and work and work, and that if you aren't working, you're being lazy or you're being a piker. And so I do think because of those reasons, resting, relaxing can be a challenge, certainly for, I think people in general, but I think Black men in particular are sensitive to this notion of laziness in a way that other folks may not be as triggered by. And so we're always trying to at least pretend to be busy, but that also gets in the way of our ability to truly relax and take it easy, which we all need to do sometimes.
What's the difference between rest and escape? Rest can occur anywhere at any time for me, whereas escape is totally different. I mean, for one, it's built into the word, right? Escape means to go somewhere, to get away, to, step away from, avoid, evade, elude something, someone, somewhere, some feelings. So you can escape from reality, you can escape from your work schedule, you can escape from your routine. Those things don't necessarily involve rest. I think you can escape and rest, or you can rest without escaping. But ultimately, I think rest is generally more important because it's something that we need to recharge our batteries, so to speak, on a regular and consistent basis.
When do you know that it's time to recharge? I think for me, it's when everything starts to feel like a weight on your shoulders. It's when life is lifing and you just don't feel like there's a break. You feel pressure. You don't feel happiness. You don't feel the joy of all that's going on around you. If you're getting to that point, you're on empty and it's time to take a break, relax, and recharge.
What activities actually fill my cup in the summer? Well, number one on that list every year is Chosen Few. Every July, the Chosen Few DJs have their annual house music picnic. It was on the 12th of July this year. So just recently, about 40,000 people in the park. House music, DJs going every hour from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m., hanging out with friends, family, just having a great time, seeing people I haven't seen for decades. I ran into a brother I haven't seen since 1986. So that's an annual major recharge event. Additionally, we call every summer the summer of sound because every summer we do a slate of concerts at Ravinia here in the Chicagoland area. So concerts at this outdoor park every year. We're out there bringing our food, out there with friends on the lawn, listening to great music, seeing incredible performances. So that's another one. And then just, getting together with friends and family as much as possible outside, enjoying everything that's happening, in the environment.
Since I live in Chicago and summer is really only about 10 or 11 weeks, I try to enjoy it as much as possible, try to get outside as much as possible. As we say, we outside because, when summer's gone, ready for fall, which, by the way, hasn't, our falls have been pretty temperate lately, but still, there's nothing like the warmth and the sun of 80 degrees and being outside in Chicago. So the goal is to enjoy it and be out amongst the elements as much as possible. And that's my goal over these next maybe 5, 6 weeks.
Do I have any summer solo rituals? I do have a solo ritual. It's a spring and summer ritual, and actually into the fall a little bit, but I try to walk on a daily basis. There's a nice park not far from my home. I work out about every other day at the gym. So on days that I work out, I walk about a mile. But on the days where I don't work out, I try to walk somewhere between 2 and 3 miles. And it's a great way for me to connect with nature, to recharge myself spiritually, to connect with the ancestors as I'm walking. and kind of doing a walking meditation. So that's my solo summer activity. When it's nice and hot, I get out there with my shirt off so that I don't get the farmer's tan.
Of course, my solo adventures in the summer or activity in the summer is running. I have to get out to the lakefront and run, particularly when it's a nice summer day. There's nothing quite like the feeling of running along the lakefront path in the summer, especially when it's really hot. It's definitely my favorite thing to do. But I also occasionally like to drink coffee, and so I will go to have some coffee at my neighborhood spot and take my time and do some people watching, which are things that are so much fun to do in the summer.
How do you carve out space for joy even during a busy season? Well, I think you have to be intentional about it. One thing I have conversations about is that no one gives you that time. You have to be intentional about making that time in order to rejuvenate. Because again, your body needs that rest. Your mind needs that ability to take a break in order to be a productive and useful person in today's society. You have to understand who you are in order to know when it's time. Others may be able to encourage you by letting you know, hey, how you doing today? Is anything going on? You may really want to think about taking that vacation. Be encouraged by those comments. What's one hidden gem in my little city of Winston-Salem? Well, I think we have a few. We have areas that are filled with nature and able to go out hiking or bicycling. We have areas that talk about old Moravian history, like Old Salem. We also have a summer series of free concerts from pop, rock, R&B, country, jazz, all of which that occur and gives everybody an opportunity to enjoy. We have the Winston-Salem Dash minor league baseball team, which is actually a feeder to the Chicago White Sox. There are so many different things that are going on in the city that we just sometimes have to go and find it. One really important gem, though, is every other summer we have the Black Theater Festival come to town. And that's just a great time for about a week or more where you're able to see some exciting on and off Broadway plays, pretty much experienced with a cast of color. And then they're just hanging out in the city. They're approachable and you can say hello to them and at times even get an autograph or a picture as well. So those are just a few things that I think are exciting about my little city.
What would my ideal weekend in my home city look like if money weren't a concern? Well, all expense paid or money's no object weekend in the summertime in Chicago would involve some incredible food at about six different places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It would involve some time on the water. It might involve some time down at Navy Pier or something like that, but would also definitely involve connecting with friends over drinks at different places along the way over the course of that weekend. And then if money was no object, I'm sure there could possibly be a little shopping in there for the missus or some other, sightseeing type of things. But mainly a whole lot of good eating and listening to good music. There's going to be so many spots to go to
I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but summertime shy really is a real thing. The city is just a totally different place in the summertime than any other time of the year. There's so much going on, so many neighborhood festivals, so many just random pop-up parties outside. It's really hard to overstate that summertime shy is a real thing. And if you spend any time in Chicago in the summer, you know this to be true, whether it's the lakefront, one of the piers like Pier 31 or just the parks. It's truly blessed in the summertime. And we all try to take full advantage of it. One of the hidden gems in Chicago that people don't always know about is the Japanese gardens, which are located just behind the Museum of Science and Industry. It's a beautiful place that in the springtime sprouts cherry blossoms. And in the summertime, it's just full of greenery. You've got the museum. It's just a beautiful place. It's literally the Japanese gardens because the Japanese government donated the cherry blossoms, and it was designed, I believe, by folks from Japan. So it's a beautiful place. Not a lot of people know about it. I like it that way, but but it's truly one of the gems, and it's on the South Side.
Why do I think people often overlook what's in their own backyard? I think the routine takes over when it's something that we're used to, it's right there. We tend to take it for granted because you see it every day, right? So the things in the neighborhood, the things that are close by, they don't have that same allure, that same draw, that idea of going somewhere and seeing something. Oh, yeah, that's always been there. So I think that kind of plays into it. We can easily take for granted or overlook those local gems that are right there because they've always been right there.
Why do I think people overlook what's amazing about their cities? And I think it's because it's where we live. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't go out and experience where we live as a visitor because we feel like, oh, I'll get to that someday. And then we know that years have passed and we still haven't gotten there yet. So, one thing I think I've learned, especially from my time in Chicago, was that there was so much to see in Chicago. And I think I always thought, oh, I'll get to it at some point. But that some point rarely ever comes. So when you have opportunities to explore your city, please explore it. There are museums, there are parks, there are restaurants, there's shopping. There's just so much culture that can be going on around your city that we just miss out on because we think about, oh, someday I'll get to it. For some, someday never comes. So again, take time. Either go alone or go with friends or go with loved ones and just share in the joy of what your city really does have to offer.
My one travel plan that I've started to make every year over these last 5 or 6 years or so has been to go to Newport, Rhode Island for the Newport Jazz Festival. It's far and away my favorite thing to do in the summer, and it's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm very much looking forward to it. It's obviously a jazz festival, so there's all kind of really cool music, but Newport is a whole vibe. It's in the Northeast. You can ferry to Martha's Vineyard. You could ferry up to Cape Cod. The weather's usually perfect, and it's just a whole thing. It's you get people from all over the country and perhaps the world there, and so it's become kind of an annual travel destination for me. And yeah, between Newport and Martha's Vineyard, and by the way, you could literally take a ferry from Newport to Martha's Vineyard and vice versa. I have yet to do that. Usually I've done it on different trips, but one day hopefully I'll be able to do both. But yeah, Newport Jazz Festival is the best travel destination in the summer for me.
What's your ideal summer escape? Well, I think that changes with the mood that I'm in or where maybe I have or haven't been. So I say that to say that sometimes I'm in for going to the beach or to a place where I can just sit and relax by a pool in a tropical area or a resort, a place where I might do an excursion, or honestly, I might just want to sit around and relax and enjoy the Caribbean air. Aruba is that one place for me. But there are times where I might enjoy going to the big city, going to see a concert or going to a game, maybe do a little shopping or maybe just enjoy the restaurants of the big city. And then there may be a time when I might want to check out the mountains, maybe enjoy some hiking trips. I'll be honest, I don't fish though, so they can leave that for those that do. But maybe hiking, enjoying the stars. I would love to see the northern lights. I think something like that would just be amazing as well.
Do I travel differently now than I did in my 20s and 30s? Definitely. For one, now I travel with my wife. In my 20s and 30s, I tended to travel more with my friends. I think now I'm not looking for excursions necessarily. I'm good with relaxing and chilling somewhere. I'm not as excited to go and explore necessarily as much maybe as I did in my 20s and 30s. And then just a lot more laid back. I think I'm more focused on what I'm eating and where I'm eating and, getting really good food in different places, whereas before that was probably less of a concern. Then again, on average, I'm taking more expensive trips than I did in my 20s and 30s.
Is there one summer travel trip that I haven't checked off yet? I think it's a European trip. I really would like to go experience France and Spain, along with Italy and Greece. I think being in the Mediterranean area would be just beautiful and amazing. I also wouldn't mind at some point taking a trip to Africa as well. I haven't done that yet. And from what I've heard, it's just a beautiful place to visit because of the appreciation of who you are and learning more about where our ancestors are from. I think those would be two amazing places that I still have on my travel plans, but just trying to still put that together.
What's one travel lesson that has stuck with me? I think being prepared for anything has stuck with me. There have been some times on past trips where it was necessary to be spontaneous to avoid potentially uncomfortable situations or to take advantage of a fun opportunity that pops up. So be prepared, have all your ducks in a row. If you're out of the country, do your research, do your homework, put yourself in a position to enjoy the locals and to be respectful of the local culture so that you can have that best experience and find local food, local holes in the wall type spots where the locals are going to eat. That's so important.
I think it's preparation. I think it's understanding and doing at least a little research about where you're going, as well as what do you really want to do while you're there. I think that if your plans are just to relax, then you really do not need to pack much. But if you're planning on doing some excursions or nightlife or different restaurants or things of that nature that require a different dress up, then you need to plan for that and be careful about overpacking. Yeah, I think that's the one thing is that we all know how to overpack. We do have to be better about that as well. As I reflect on this conversation about summertime and recognizing the joys of the cities that we live in, I think about summertime just as a concept versus as a specific time of the year. For me, summertime is not like how it used to be as I was a child. I think of vacation as my summertime. And therefore, whenever you're getting ready to take those breaks, whenever you're getting ready to recharge, whenever you're getting ready to just have a great time and enjoy yourself in places that you haven't been, or in the place where you are currently living, or it be that you're just getting ready to enjoy times with people you love, then that's your summertime. One of the songs I like to put on is by Will Smith, Summertime. And I just enjoy the lyrics of that. And it gets me in that spirit and that mood of, hey, it's just a moment in our mind. It's a moment to be able to relax and rejuvenate and hopefully refill that energy for us to be happy and productive. Have a great summer.
So if there's one piece of advice I'd give to folks about summer, enjoy it as much as you can, because it just does not last long enough, at least in places like Chicago. There's a song by Grover Washington Jr. called Summer Song, and the lyrics go, sing that summer song, soon it will be gone. Catch that fever now, watch I'll show you how. Again, Summer Song by Grover Washington Jr., who's from Philly, by the way. That's the one summer song that I often think about. And the other one is Summer Madness, Kool and the Gang. It's another one. Stevie Wonder's Summer Soft. And they all speak to this notion of summer being fleeting, that it doesn't last forever, and that you need to enjoy it as much as you can.
Thanks for hanging out with us for this summertime episode of Raw and Refined, the Gentleman's Hour. Whether you're traveling the world or just walking your neighborhood, we hope you're finding little moments of joy and rest. We'll be back with a full episode soon. But until then, please take care of yourselves and enjoy the moment. We out.